Greetings! Welcome to the overview of my new workstation, AMD Threadripper 3970x. I've built it in February. I ordered all the equipment in January, so all the information is relevant as of January 2020. So, this is the case from Fractal Design. As far as I remember, it is called XL2 or R2, something like this. I chose this case due to technical requirements that I had. 4 GPUs, motherboard XL80X, and also the case should have 8 HDD trays for creating RAID array. Let's open up and have a look inside. So this is the interior of my new server. And well, we can see that this is the beautiful Aorus Xtreme from Gigabyte. It has all the bells and whistles that I need, but funny enough, it is marketed towards gamers and I fail to see the point. Who is this person? I guess it is possible for a gamer to have all these features enabled and somehow benefiting from all these features, but no. Well, yes, it has RGB strip somewhere like there with all the additional RGB features, but I decided against all this unicorn vomit. Nevertheless, so I have 128 gigabytes of RAM. The cooling solution, yes. Radiator from Be Quiet. First of all, I wanted to install 2080 AO liquid cooling from Corsair. Unfortunately, the solution from Corsair was impossible to get. The seller refused to ship it to Russia. So then there was and there is a solution by Enermax. It is extremely flawed. Just Google Enermax TRX disaster or something like this. It's bad. And as you can see, it has an additional dust management solution that I had to install. I know what pain it is to deal with dust. And my previous server has 3 140mm fan and the central net that you can pull out and remove all the dust. Well, not all the dust, but the majority of it. But unfortunately, this case has like a limited dust management solution. Additional holes, they have nothing to offer in terms of air filtering. I decided to opt with this, and unfortunately, well, as you can see, it has some additional weird things. This is the fan that they include, and as you can see, it has central mounting and it uses clips. In order for me to use this additional dust filter, I had to drill in additional latches for all the clips to be able to clip and not to interfere with the screws. There they are. That was the problem. It is impossible to filter 100% of dust, but still, the majority of it will be settled here. And yes, obviously, an additional brackets. I saw this solution from Puget Systems, but I was surprised that only after I came up with this exact case, this exact layout, and this exact radiator, I find out that Puget Systems, they actually do similar things, and they have acrylic thingy and with additional brackets. I asked my friends to print me this on 3D printer. It took me about 3 or 4 times to get all the dimensions right, but now I feel confident. The main attraction, 4 GPUs. This is 2080 Ti RTX. I bought it about a year ago, last June. And these are GTX Titan X Maxwell edition from 2015, and surprisingly enough, they still hold their value. They have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and I happily use them. My main render engine is Octane, so this is the array that I'm proud of. And obviously all these things have to be supplied with electricity. And this is the additional fan that I installed. It is a slim version, 140. I was sure that due to the enormous heat that all these GPUs have to dissipate, this fan is just impossible to underestimate. But unfortunately, the length of my PCU is exceeds the requirements for a standard fan, so I opt for the slim version, and you can see how tight tolerances are. Previously I had like additional metal bracket, but unfortunately this PCU just pressed down to this bracket. Vibration was awful. And I also resoldered and changed internal fan in the PCU unit. You can see all the attempts of opening it without knowing that there are additional elements that I had to unscrew. And cable management, of course. I wanted my system to be clean and easy to maintain. And now we have the RAID array. All the RAID array HDDs. We have 12 terabytes of usable storage. This is the RAID 1.0, yes, and it is quite robust. Previously I had only one occasion of RAID being down, and it recovered itself, and using this motherboard it has RAID Expert 2, and I made a controllable collapse of RAID array. To my surprise, the process of rebuilding is rather interesting. The system rebuilds on the background. Yes, the speed is a bit slower, but still it doesn't interrupt your pipeline and you're good to go. And this HDD, it's 12 terabyte backup. Yes, I could have opted for NAS, but I wanted all to be contained in one case. I wanted this backup to be electrically disengaged at will. So it goes something like this. When I want to make a backup, I press this button, HDD goes online, the system makes incremental backup of my main RAID array. Then, when it's done, I press this button once again. Before I press this button, I stop the HDD in Windows. Then I press this button and HDD goes offline. And now it is electrically disengaged from the main system. And so in case of some catastrophic event, I'll be able to recover all my data. And just to make a point, I do have another backup on my external HDD. It's about 4 terabytes. I'm prepared for anything that might go wrong. There is yet another HDD. It's an archive one. It has projects that are no longer relevant and do not require an instant access. And so we have yet another thing to show and tell. And this is this thing. I have no idea who was responsible for making this case, but it has one significant flaw. If you watch close enough, you can see a slight dip. It caves in due to all these perforations. And what do we have here? The same thing. But I guess because of this surface and this plane has two distinct states. Now look at this. Who designed it? And so if you install 140 or 120 millimeter fan, well, it will be jammed. So I decided to use this adapter, and I also installed additional dust filter. You can see it here. And now, no matter the state of this panel, it doesn't jam the fan. This fan is very, very important, for it supplies all the GPUs with additional air. Let's look behind the curtain. And this is the thing I'm proud of. Well, not because it is obviously very beautiful, but because I was able to run out of plastic metal thing that you use to manage your cables. I thought they were infinite, but it turned out that they're finite. Now the backside is in order. I have a very good access to all the HDDs. Everything is neat and tidy. And even here, that was a very difficult task to do, to manage all the cables for them to fit here. I saw builds of Threadripper, but well, they rarely use more than 2 GPUs and about 1 or 2 HDDs or NVMe's and whatnot. But this amount of stuff, it did require a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. Initial build took me about a week just to sort out the main stuff. And then I polished it for about a month, doing this stuff, figuring out the problems with all the cables. I had to order additional cables for fans. Now all the fans are controlled by the motherboard. Here they are. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished. And now let's close the side panel. Funny enough, despite the fact that this case is enormous, you can see that the tolerances, they're pretty tight. I hope it was interesting, and for someone who wants to build something like this, that would be helpful.